Good morning, bedheads. Click. How's it going today? I got the best bedhead ever. Hey, I did get that picture. Somebody sent me a picture and she's completely blacked out, like shadowed, but then her bedhead. I'll have to show you guys at some point. I didn't bring it over here, but thank you for that. That was awesome. Click. Okay, so look at my mug. Alone we are a drop. Together we are a flood. So don't forget that. Available in our shop. On sale right now. So, hey, we are going to talk about how to process and get through this very, very, very dark situation called the E-files. And this is actually my second coffee with Karen. I recorded one yesterday. So this one's going to be very, very different because I recorded the one yesterday. It was an hour long and I decided not to post it because it was really, I was in a place of anger. Anger, sadness, unbelievable, like, I don't know. I just, anyway, so that's where it came from. So we are going to have a different conversation today that I think will be more helpful. So that's good. That's good. I'm learning. It was really healthy for me. It was like a therapy appointment, right? So, or just having some therapy. It was really healthy for me to record that. And I even talked to my sister about it, about whether or not we should put a third membership level in the spirit circle for those who want to talk about politics. And that I will, because we used to talk, and not about politics, but just what's going on, not even politics, what's going on in the world today and how to process it. So, because it would give those who are interested, I'm assuming it would be a pretty small group, but it would give you guys a place to talk about stuff, but behind the scenes, not, I don't know. Let me know if you're interested in that. The only thing is, I don't know if we did a third level and posted video. Oh, no. Yeah. If I posted a video, like I could post the one I did yesterday, then you could talk within that video. And in fact, I could go, we can't premiere them, but anyway, so you could chat within that video, which would protect people at other levels who don't want to talk about politics or what's going on in the world today from it would be a processing place. So let me know if you're interested in that. I wouldn't necessarily I probably would do more of these. Like, this is what I would be doing in there, is we'd just be having coffee with Karen, and I would just post whenever I felt like I needed to process stuff, and then, with you guys, and that you guys could process stuff. So I probably wouldn't do like a regularly scheduled thing like I do with the other two levels, but anyways. Okay, so today during coffee with Karen, get your coffee out, or your tea, or your water. I actually have water in this mug because my coffee would be too cold by the time I was done. I'm going to take a drink, but I'll mute you. So we're going to talk through what I found to be a very helpful conversation on a medium's channel by the name of Amanda Ellis. Okay. Now, I will say up front, like in the fall, I was kind of annoyed with Amanda because I think she was reading, she probably was reading the situation much better than I was, but I kind of felt like she was supporting the situation. And so, only because she wasn't giving her opinions, I guess. And by situation, I mean Trump. So it was really hard for me. And I still don't even know, I think I didn't feel like she was that neutral, actually, but that was just my opinion. But she popped up in my feed again, and she was talking about what I'm going to talk about today. And so I literally took her outline. So 100% credit to her, but we're going to talk through her tips on how to get through this darker time. Okay. And her tips are coming from, she says, just as I do when we're channeling somebody or the lead team, but her tips are coming from Archangel, I don't know who she said, Archangel Metatron. Okay. So we're going to talk through that a little bit. And I'm going to give you, again, I'm just going to talk through exactly what she highlighted, but in a different way. Obviously, I'm just going to talk through it from my lens. And I will post her video below if you want to listen to her directly. So, obviously all credit to her for for this channeling. All right. So let's see if this is helpful for you and I, because I'm telling you guys, whoa. I've been trying to balance how much to pay attention to, but I get so confused sometimes because I'm like, I feel like I have to pay attention. And now I'm convinced. Okay, so even like, how that meme went out the other day from Trump's account, said he was a staffer, but whatever, it doesn't matter, of Michelle and Barack, the monkey meme. So the timing of that, again, look at what everybody's talking about. People were just so irate with it, both sides. We need as much energy. You guys, I don't even care about authoritarianism right now when it comes to these files. That's all I have to say. And, well, it's not all I have to say. I'm just saying they can throw anything at us right now and it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter at all, because this is the biggest crime of what's going on. And here's the thing. A lot of people, even Amanda, I caught, they were talking about this as if the files are in the past. That's the problem. The files are not in the past. They are current, which means, yes, the files are what happened in the past, but this is happening. This is happening to children, animals, any vulnerable community. It's happening right now. So we have to really keep that in mind. Okay? It's happening. And that's the most horror. My brain can process. When I hear from a victim, I can process that, thank you for sharing that. How horrible that must have been. But so we've got people who have dealt with it and have PTSD and are dealing with it every single day, not to mention being like threatened and all that kind of stuff. The layers of this thing is so unbelievable for victims. But we have people currently being victimized. So what I was talking about yesterday is I had listened to one of the victims the other day, which is why, it took the life out of me for 12 hours. It lowered my vibration significantly. Because she gave details and which is important because you got to understand the severity of this, right? But she was very clear. We have got to stop talking about the people. We got to stop talking about the perpetrators, and we have to talk about the children that it's currently happening to. But everybody's so focused on the perpetrators, But we'll get there. We've got to process this thing. And this is what Amanda talks about. And so that this is going to be a helpful and healing conversation. All right. So, because I think this is really needed. This is really needed for me, which is why I clicked on her video and so I thought, well, if it's needed for me, I'm pretty certain if you've been paying attention to what's the details, you're probably needing a little bit of this right now too. Okay. Let's see. All right. So again, just there's a few other who Amanda is receiving guidance from. All right. So she explains that the overall framing of her messages are primarily from Archangel Metatron. She says Metatron is one who named the current collective situation an energetic minefield. Okay, so she got that from Metatron. An energetic minefield is what we're going through right now. He is the guide giving her the structure of how to understand what is happening and how to walk through it. All right, so very, very helpful. She also brings in Archangel Michael for protection, the light versus the dark theme that she talks about, and what she describes as a force field of light. So I'm going to ask Archangel Michael to come into this conversation with us as well. And Archangel Metatron, we could use any support at this time, right? Archangel Uriel, she calls in for discernment, knowing how much information is safe for you to take in and when to stop. And everyone's going to be different on that. I think the challenge is there's parts of me that want to stop permanently. And I don't think, Amanda said something that I thought was interesting. I hadn't thought about. The role of the light worker is to shine light on the darkness. So if we ignore it, how do we shine the light on the darkness? So we have to be very careful, though, about knowing how much information is safe for you to take in at any time. And so we can ask, let's pull in Archangel Uriel to help all of us. So Archangel Uriel, if you would help all of us here having this conversation, help each of us individually to use discernment and to know it clearly. How to know when too much is too much, take a break, and then come back to it when you need to, or when you can, okay? She called upon Mary Magdalene through an oracle message about confusion, pausing, and stepping back when you feel overwhelmed. Mary Magdalene. I'm really excited about that she's talking about Mary, because it is the next book we're going to be reading in the Spirit Circle. And I already started reading it, even though I haven't gotten done with the last one. Because I got it and I'm like, I'm really interested. It's called Mary Magdalene Revealed. I'll put it in the description, the link in the description. But yeah, it's really interesting. I'm excited about that. So she also we'll call in Mary Magdalene too, to help us with that energy. Why not? She also calls in Jesus, Mother Mary, and Archangel Sandalphon. I don't know how to pronounce that. So we'll talk about that when it comes up in her points. Okay. So we're going to talk through, this is going to be longer it's going to be a longer video, but she has 10 points that Archangel Metatron talked through with her. Okay. The first one was the collective minefield. Okay. So I think that's helpful for us to process this as a minefield, understanding that that's what this is, right? Her main point, even if you are not reading, even if you're not reading anything. So her main point about this, Metatron's main point, even if you're not reading anything, you can still feel the emotional fallout. All right. And it is, the astrology and the guides, the lead team with the messages, have been warning us over and over again that this stuff is heating up, right? And this is in line. It's almost like they've been preparing our nervous systems to deal with this information, because this is to me, it is the heaviest of everything that's been going on for years, with this administration. And boy, I feel like, because it's so interesting to me that this administration was the one, when they were going through the election process, that they were going to bring this out in the open, and and boy, oh boy, well, the person who was saying that is like one of the biggest culprits. It's unbelievable. And now he's like the commander in chief. But again, we kind of knew it depended on what you were listening to. So we can't blame anybody at this point, because it really just depended on what you were listening to. and what you were being fed through the algorithm, and what, and where you grew up, and, everything. It's complicated. So, but everything, it's so clear, and it was then too, that everything he said was an admission. Everything he blamed other people for was an admission of guilt for himself, because he knew what to blame people for. Because he did it himself, which is why, like, anytime he would say stuff, I'd be like, what? Because it wasn't even in my imagination, but it was in his imagination, because he knows, Okay, so let me get this clear. This is not about one person, and we are going to talk about this. This is clearly not about one person, and it's on the whole. It is not about one person. It is about systems and power and money, and it goes across. It doesn't matter it's not about politics anymore. It just isn't. But the thing is our current commander-in-chief is one of the biggest perpetrators. So we've got to deal with that. We have got to deal with that. But let's process this information first. And it doesn't matter if you voted for him. You cannot deny it. It's literally, and they redacted more. I can't even believe the stuff they didn't redact. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, because they think that what we're reading is not harmful to him. Like, what the hell, So can you imagine what they redacted? Wow. Okay, so anyways, like that, the whole meme, everything now, every single thing they're pushing out there. I mean, that was completely to stop people from talking about this. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. They can do whatever they want. I will never stop talking about this now. And looking into it and reading more as I can handle it, because this, I don't even believe in evil and devil, but now I do. Like, that's how much it's shaken me up. Like, I guess there is the devil on earth. I mean, that's how much it's shaken me up, that I'm like, what? I just didn't know there could be collectively this much darkness. Okay. Anyways, so the collective minefield. She says the collective field gets loud fast. Social media pushes it into your face. People react in totally different ways. Yep. That creates confusion, anger, numbness, and emotional whiplash. Anybody feeling that? Totally. So the question becomes, how do we stay present without getting spiritually and emotionally pulled under? After I listened to one video of one survivor the other day, and boy, did I get spiritually and emotionally pulled under, because I just had no idea that this was going on to this degree. So, and she's been talking for 5 years. It's just that I haven't been exposed to it. Not by my fault. I just haven't been exposed to it. I've only been on YouTube, like literally even listening to people on YouTube for like a year or so. I don't do social media or anything. So that's the Gen Xers. Okay. So her point number 2, everyone will be disappointed in someone, she said. And I thought this was a really good point, because she's British, and someone had said to her kind of snarky in her video or her comments, well, way to go. Like, I don't know what other Brits are being brought up in the files, but she's like, excuse me, just because I'm British. But everyone's going to be disappointed by someone. So just keep that in mind. We can't, be like, your person, and oh, look, Bill's in there. You're a leftist, so Bill's in there, and you're right, so Trump's in there. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're going to be very surprised who's in there. In fact, last night I was in the files, like typing people's names in to see like people I've liked. Like Deepak Chopra is in there. Yeah. So to what degree, I don't know. And I'm going to reserve judgment on that. Enough that he's making the news about it. enough that his language, I think, sounded pretty. You guys know where that's from? Boy, I hope he's not in there. The F word I just said under my breath. See what I mean? Yeah, I hope he's not, but someone's going to be we're all going to be disappointed by somebody, and disappointed is not the right word. It's not the right word, disappointed. I think this is really shaking me up to the sense that I don't even know. This is what the astrology has been saying, and the guides have been saying too, like preparing us for this. We are going to get to a point where we don't know what to believe anymore about anything. I think that's what's going to happen. And we're going to have to deal with that. We are not going to know. We are going to see things that we thought everybody is. We are going to see things that we thought we have based our whole personality and life structure and beliefs around, and whatever that is, and we are not going to know where to find it. We're going to be like, everything I put my faith in or everything I thought was good, like I'll use an example because I don't know if she's in there to any degree. I mean, I did look her up yesterday, but there's some files with her name mentioned. Be careful because people, even though they're mentioned in the files, it's because Epstein might have sent an email about them, like saw an article about them. That's why that's why their name is, because it's like, so like if you think of your email, every email you have ever sent, if you think you've deleted it, they've got record. I mean, they could grab everything, right? So everything he's ever sent. So I did look up Oprah because I thought, if she's in there, like in a way that she's a part of this whole thing, like that will, because man, did I don't idolize her, but I certainly, I mean, think if the Obamas were in there, like, you know what I mean? For people who have felt that they are huge, high integrity. I mean, I'm sorry, but we've all known, even people who voted for Trump know he's not of high integrity. I mean, if you think he is, like, I mean, listen to him talk at the campaign rallies. That's not someone with integrity. I mean, come on, let's not pretend. If you think that's high integrity, then you got it. Then maybe you won't be as surprised by these files, but you know what I mean? So, like, there are certain people, and so the question is like people who appear to be high integrity. At least Trump shows who he is. He at least was honest about who he was, and people loved it and still voted for him. So at least he's honest about who he is. So we don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if people like that, who I have thought was like the highest integrity that I would live up to, I think we're going to find that out. Not specifically them, but I think there's going to be people in there like that. So we are going to be, this is a minefield. I think a minefield is a really good word for this. And it's going to shake us to our cores. It's already shaken me to my core enough where I'm like, I don't even know how I can enjoy life now. I literally have felt that. Like, how am I supposed to enjoy life knowing that there are children that they're doing this to? Now, I have always known that children here and there get, but it's like one-off person, and then I think, well, maybe they were unalived, and thank God they've been unalived so they're not being tortured. Well, that's not happening now. Now I know that these kids are well alive, and it's not good. So okay. So everyone will be disappointed in someone. This is not about one person. It touches many levels of society. Most people will find at least one name, group, or institution that shocks them. Her guidance here is simple. Do your inner work before you point outward, which means don't be like leaving comments about, well, I know nobody here would, but let people discover on their own, let people process on their own. Like, we don't even go out and be like, well, why did you vote for Trump? I mean, we don't want people saying that to us, So no, we don't do that. Notice who you feel betrayed by. Notice who you still defend automatically. I ain't defending anybody. There ain't nobody I'm defending at this point. It's got to shake out the way it's got to shake out. Notice where you feel embarrassed for ever admiring someone. I don't feel embarrassed by that because the manipulation is real. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. I don't feel embarrassed, but I feel like, well, is there anybody we can trust? So that's going to be the healing part of this for me. Like, I can't even honestly, like right now, this is where my brain is effed up. I can't even think of people who are rich unless I know them personally, people who have a lot of money. I'm starting, like, if I go drive by a big neighborhood where I live or, like an expensive neighborhood, I'm like, you bunch of suckers. You're all part of it. Which obviously is not true. But that's, that's where we have to ask, was it Uriel for discernment? Yes. But, anyone who's wealthy now, I'm just like, rah. And I'm pretty wealthy, but I mean like uber wealthy. I mean, I'm wealthy in the sense of retirement wealthy, but I'm talking like control power wealthy, right? Like, no, I mean, even the Democratic, it's funny because, yeah, the Republicans really MAGA Republicans are really showing who they are. But at least they're honest about it. I think I don't know. I don't know how the Democrats, I don't know. I don't know. All of this makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. Okay. Okay, very good points. Notice who you feel betrayed by. Notice who you defend. Just be careful about that. Notice where you feel embarrassed. And she said this is bigger than politics. Absolutely. It hits the whole pedestal system. Yes, it does. Okay. Point number 3. Excuse me. She talks about Metatron talked about the inverted pyramid. Okay, or triangle. All right. So she talks about the inverted triangle, meaning we've put the wrong people at the top. Yeah, we put the wrong people at the top. People with money, people with power, right? Or status and fame. So status and fame is not a good proof of goodness, clearly. All right. Money is not proof of character. Many of the most decent people are the everyday people doing honest life quietly. Yeah. So that's, and I think this is becoming very clear to me that this is all about, a lot of it, especially with Epstein, a lot of it is about blackmailing. It was about blackmailing. So where we have to use discernment is I think there's been a lot of people who have been blackmailed, probably drugged, and put in compromising positions with children. They're using them for that. Now, this is just one aspect of this whole thing. I think this thing is deep in many different layers, okay? So, but we've got the Epstein using it for blackmail, okay? Which now is very clear that Trump's doing that, okay? I'm just saying. I've watched one video of a lawyer. If you were wondering, which I was, why some of the law firms capitulated so quickly to Trump with the DEI stuff, and also just like said that they would give him free pro bono legal fees. Did you ever wonder why? Well, I watched a lawyer talk about this the other day, and she pulled out she found why in the files. One of the law firms, I'm not going to go into detail, but one of the law firms who was giving him $10 million of pro bono. And like literally, like he just threatened them, and then they were like, okay, that's because their CEO is deep in the files and has they have compromising videos on him. So we have a president who is blackmailing using children. He's using children to blackmail people. And we don't know that he could have been drugged. He could have been drugged. I don't know. Although I do, because he was sending emails back and forth, and the emails are not good. So I don't think he was. He might have been drugged initially. I have no idea, you know. But it sounded like he had a pretty good time because he went back for more. So that's why. That guy's still a CEO of a law firm right now. He's still the CEO. That's why he capitulated. So this authoritarian takeover, it's pretty easy to do when you've got blackmail. So it's clear to me that this is a buildup that they've been planning for a very long time. Get everybody in line. What do you think they have on the Supreme Court? What do you think they got on those guys? What kind of blackmail? That's what they're using. That's Project 2025. They blackmailed people. So we have to understand that's there's part of that is political, right? Who knows how many Democrats they've blackmailed, you know? So if you wonder that that's the pieces I'm putting together now. If you're wondering how this has come about, that's really how. They have literally used children and sex and SA and RAPE and other things, which is, I can't even, to set people up slowly but surely over the years to get to this point, Project 2025. I guarantee okay. That's more than I really wanted to talk about, but we got to start seeing these connections, you know? I mean, I'll admit, like with the video I did yesterday, I did talk about some of these things, and I felt like, well, shit, am I going to be compromised by talking about this stuff? And then I thought to myself, oh, it doesn't even matter. Like, I was talking to my sister. They're hearing this right now. They heard that video. I mean, if they wanted to, they could pull it up. You know, everything is recorded. Every single thing we're doing is recorded. You know, it just is. I mean, that's just the way it is. And that's becoming clear. But so, you know, if you've ever texted anybody about TRUMP or I don't know why I'm spelling his name out. You know, I mean, I even looked up our channel in the Epstein files because they had one YouTube video with what's her name? That journalist who's been digging into like the whole mob history, and what's her name? Wendy? You guys know who I'm talking about, maybe. Anyways, like there was a clip of her YouTube channel. I was like, oh, you know, like under an FBI investigation, you know. So they know everybody's talking about this. But, you know, it's like, well, I don't want to be exposed, you know. Well, every time you leave a comment about this stuff on any video, all that's tracked. So there's no running from it at this point. So then I thought, nah. I just don't, this channel, you know, it's going to continue to be more from a spiritual perspective because I don't want to go down the political, you know, I was doing that all last year. But this is totally different, man. This topic is anyway. So again, I might put that if we want to continue talking about what's going on in the world, like the specifics and then how to deal with it. I might do that in a third tier in the spirit circle. So it's private, but you'll have to let me know if you want to do that. Okay. Her fourth point, healing is not done all at once. So right? This point matters because people want instant justice and instant processing. Okay, so when I was listening to this, one of the survivors who's 32 now, all right, so this happened to her when she was under 18. So she's 32. In fact, she turns 32 on my wedding anniversary. She was 2 years old when I got married. So maybe 1 year. You know, she's been living this her whole life, right? So she's 32. So she's been living this her whole life. And she's been talking about it publicly for about 5 years. And she's very frustrated right now. The video I watched is her being very, very angry because all everybody wants to talk about are the names. Like, who's the perpetrators? That's all anybody wants to talk about is the perpetrators. But nobody's talking about the children. And I get it. Like, I'm like, yeah. Like, I get why she's so angry. But this is the first time I'm hearing this to this level. So I have to have my processing time. And that's nobody's fault. Like, you might have been, I mean, I knew stuff was going on, but like, you know, until stuff is dropped, I mean, and again, depends on anything you were doing in your life, you know? So, and there's still a lot of people who have no idea, and they're not going to have any idea, and God bless them because they got to hold the light for us. God bless them. You know what I mean? I'd rather not know, to be perfectly honest. I mean, of course I wouldn't. But there's a reason why I'm becoming aware of it, and I'm going to trust that my guides want me to be aware of it. So, and we have to trust that there's people who aren't going to be aware of it. We have to trust that their guides are guiding them to do that too, right? So just know healing obviously is not done all at once, and we have to let everybody process the information, even people in denial. If people are in denial about it, it's because it is too hard to imagine. It's too hard to imagine. My problem is if I hear one thing, I believe everything. Like, I do. Because I'm like, there's no way someone could make up a story like that. And then I have people in my family or friends who are like, they deny everything because I think their brain just can't. They're like, no way. Like, there's no way people would do that. Yeah, and that's fair because they're good people. You don't believe anybody can do shit like this, you know? So we have to keep that in mind with everybody, okay? So big truths often come in layers, which they've been coming in the last year and a half. We've been getting a lot of big truths, and we've been processing them. I mean, I'm over the grieving process of what the Trump administration, the Project 2025 is doing. I'm over that grieving process. I've accepted it. And don't get me wrong, and I don't mean surrender. I mean, I've accepted that this is what they're doing, and now we can deal with it. But I've been going through the grieving process first. I went through denial, like, no way, there's no way. Like, nope, they will be able to take it back right away. There's no way Congress would let them do this. To anger, to freaking out, sadness, everything. But I am in acceptance when it comes to that part of it. I am not at acceptance when it comes to this stuff yet. And the acceptance in terms of the grieving process, doesn't mean acceptance like, okay, well, let it just keep happening. Not that kind of acceptance. All right. So just remember that we all are going to digest this in stages. Denial is real, she says. Shock is real. Yeah, that's where I've been. Numbness is real. And that slower pace is not always cover up. Sometimes it's simply human capacity. All right. It's simply human capacity, what people can deal with. And just keep in mind, and I think she does, here, the next point. This reopens old wounds. There have been so many people, adults now, who have been violated in so many different ways. And this is opening up old wounds. It's going to open up old wounds. So we have to let people process that too. All right. So this is one, some people hearing these headlines are survivors, like a lot of people are, just within their own families, People have wounds they don't talk about, so just keep that in mind. You have no idea. You have no idea what has happened to people. Some people get flooded and they don't know why. So she's encouraging public compassion. Absolutely. Public compassion. Choose your words carefully. Don't mock people who aren't ready. Don't shame people who feel overwhelmed. Don't force graphic details into public spaces. Vina was talking about something yesterday, and it was about that kidnapping of Savannah's mother. And I posted a comment about it, and I deleted it. I thought, no, I just don't want to contribute to like, well, this, I mean, I was posting something that was found in Wikipedia, but like it was, I don't know. I just didn't want to. I just decided not to contribute to it. Which I think you guys, I have a sneaky suspicion that her kidnapping is related to this. And I will say, because this is why, because I heard, and again, again, discernment, but okay, so the Clintons were refusing to testify about what's in the files, right? And Savannah's mom gets kidnapped. There's a ransom thing, which I think is not, I think it's being used as the excuse to kidnap her. And all of a sudden, right after, the Clintons decide they're going to testify. Well, guess who worked for Al Gore and Bill Clinton is a client of Savannah's husband's company. Was a client, I believe. Who, and again, I don't know if this part's true, but that his company scrubs the internet for things. And I think he's being called to testify. So it's so fascinating, because everything that goes on in the world, I'm going to wonder if it has to do with this whole thing. I'm going to wonder. So let's wait and see how that plays out. Okay, so point number 6, she talked about holy anger or righteous anger. I never even understood righteous anger until I started this channel and having conversations with you guys. And I did a video once and I was just pissed. I was just, and then I apologized for being angry. And someone said, don't apologize. That's righteous anger, And I never knew that term. I think that's a religious term, isn't it? So she called it holy anger, Amanda. So righteous anger is different than revenge. All right. Holy anger, I'll call it holy anger because that's what she called it. Holy anger says this matters, this must change. So that's what we're feeling now. We're feeling that this matters and this must change. Okay. Revenge says I want to destroy. Totally different energy. That's not where I'm at. No, this freaking matters and this will change, is how I feel. So she says we cannot build something better on revenge or vengeful energy. That's totally true. I think that's right. She uses a simple image. If something is cut down, you build a forest. You don't let the loss turn you into poison. Okay? The next point, the accountability mirror. She says the micro and the macro reflect each other. If we want accountability up there, we need to practice accountability down here. Okay. Or it's like this now. If we want accountability up here, we need to practice it down here. Okay. So do you own your own words? Do you clean up your own message? Do you apologize when you're wrong? These are the questions you got to ask yourself. Do I stop excusing harm just because it's convenient? She's not equating everyday mistakes with extreme crime. She's talking about the pattern of getting away with it. That pattern has to end at every level, getting away with it. Lying, not telling the truth. What part of your life are you not telling the truth, even to yourself or to, So that was just a little part of the conversation. Her next point is light wins, but you have to stay aligned. She frames this as a spiritual battle of attention and allegiance. Darkness tries to drain the life force out of people, which is, I'm going to get suspicious. I'm just going to, that's why they probably didn't have problems laying out some of it, because they know all of us are going to be just horrified, right? So darkness tries to drain the life force out of us, and they've been trying to do that. That's exactly what Project 2025 is designed to do, drain the life force so that we get tired. Flood the zone. Steve Bannon, who's in the files, by the way, big time. Steve Bannon, flood the zone. That's his strategy. Yeah. Okay, Steve. You're a good guy. You're a good guy, Steve. Cut, clear, cancel. Let's send Steve some love right now, seriously, because the only way he will raise his vibration is if we send him love and not hatred. And anybody else you want to. Remember our 5 seconds of sending love out? Let's do that today. Send it out to all the perpetrators and all the children that it's currently happening to, and everybody. So we have to send it out, because we have to send it not just to the children, though. We have to send it to the perpetrators too, because that will help raise their vibration. We want to raise their vibration so they start to question what the hell they're doing. But if we keep them angry, if we keep anger towards them, then that's going to keep their vibration low. That's what I totally get that. Like, I totally getting that now from a spiritual perspective, right? So that's why we got to get past our egos and send love to the people that are harming us, because every time their vibration just gets lower and lower and lower, and we're a part of lowering that vibration. So we say the Ho'oponopono prayer at that point, when you realize that, is, I'm sorry, please forgive me for lowering your vibration. Thank you, and I love you. I'll say that to Trump, because I have lowered his vibration significantly. I mean, yes, he is ultimately responsible, but I have lowered his vibration significantly with the energy I've sent. Okay? So I think that's a really interesting distinction that I'm just learning for myself. Okay, the last point, no, there's a couple more points. The step back message. She pulled a Mary Magdalene oracle card about confusion. The guidance was basic. Take a few steps back. Don't pressure yourself to process everything today. Quiet restores clarity. Honor what your heart can handle right now. This is permission to pace yourself. So Mary Magdalene showed up. I love that. I love that for us. Okay, and her last point was protect the kids. You guys, I swear to God, right now, I understand helicopter parents now, and Gen Xers were helicopter parents. My generation was helicopter parents, and I get it now. And you know what? Not only do we have to be helicopter parents, they got to be stuck to us. I told my sister last night, they got to be stuck to us like Velcro. Anyone under 18, Velcro. So when we criticize the parents for, well, call me when you get there and call me when Velcro. Until this gets cleaned up, this Velcro is all I have to say. She says something practical. Kids should not be exposed to heavy headlines and graphic. Okay, so she's saying protect the kids just in the headlines right now, of course. Adults have to be the gatekeepers. It's okay to protect innocence while still pursuing truth and justice. She reminds people to actively point kids towards goodness. Most people are good. Yeah, just remember that. It's so hard because it feels like the whole world. Most people are good, just because you can't even believe this has been going on under your feet, Goodness is real, love is real, safety does still exist. But I'm saying protect the children, There's been a couple kids around us who have been disappeared, and it's horrifying to me. It is easier for me, and I know this, like some of you might think this is awful, but when a child disappears and we can't find them, like for a year. I do hope they're unalived, but I'm afraid now they're not. I'm afraid now they're not. And the only reason I hope they're unalived is so they're not being tortured and stuff, you know? So animals too. I can't, you know, this can't be going on in just one vulnerable group. So, oh, I know, it's hard. It's so hard. Okay. So she gave some tools. Simple daily practice called force field of light. Imagine a strong light barrier around you. Ask for protection before you scroll, watch, and read stuff. That's good. Keep your energy in your body, not spread across the internet. That's a good one. Ask for discernment like we've done with Archangel Uriel. A clear declaration. She says to clearly say my energy cannot be used for darkness or any ulterior purpose. I love that. My energy is is for truth, healing, protection, and light. Write it, say it, and mean it. That's really good, you guys. So right now I'm going to ask the lead team collective, all those archangels we've pulled in, including Jesus, our energy cannot be used for darkness. I'm asking that on behalf of this community right now, or any ulterior purpose. Our energy is for truth, healing, protection, and light only. Okay? So she says, write it, say it, and mean it. So if you said it right now, I think that would really help the energy for the community. All right? She said, armor of God. She lists this as a daily energetic practice. Helmet, breastplate, belt of truth, shield of faith, sword of spirit, feet walking in peace. Even if you don't use that exact wording, the point is simple. Start your day protected on purpose. So she called it the armor of God. Keep your focus on justice, not obsession. She encourages people to visualize accountability and real consequences, not spiraling, not doom scrolling, not collapsing into hopelessness. Yeah, that's where I've been. Oh, goodness. Okay. So, conclusion. We are in a moment where a lot of people feel shocked, betrayed, and spiritually disoriented. And the way through is not to become numb, and it's not to become consumed. It's to stay steady. One layer at a time, one day at a time, with protection on, with compassion in public, with truth held clearly, with your light still in your hand. And if you're watching this and you feel overwhelmed, pick just one tool today. The force field on, step back, discernment prayer, no doom scrolling. All right? Okay, you guys, thank you for being here for this conversation. I don't think it's the last. It can't be the last of them. And I probably will be doing this on a regular basis because with it, when it comes to this particular issue, it's not even an issue. I don't know. It's so deep. I don't know. We'll see where we go with it. But we're going to have to obviously keep processing it. So, okay. Remember, that's why I picked this mug today. Alone we are a drop. Alone the children are a drop. Alone the survivors are a drop. But together we're a flood. They can't ignore it. And that's why it's building. That's why it's building for the survivors. They have gone through hell. Talk about being in hell. And they're still going through hell because they're being threatened. The girl I was talking to the other day, I saw a video of her and she had to wear a bulletproof vest as she was speaking. I mean, come on. Yeah. So people who are threatening them are clearly a part of this whole thing, you know? So that's why we have to move. We have to move together as a flood because they can't threaten everybody, right? So alone we are a drop, together we are a flood. All right. So we've got this. All right. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.